everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I am here to review Netflix's The Harder They Fall. Now, this is a movie that's always been pretty interesting to me because, first of all, and I'm just gonna get this out of the way, representation is a big deal. Representation is a big deal, and in today's Hollywood and in today's system, there has been an ability to be represented on a bigger scale than usual in a mostly black, predominantly black Western movie. It's something I've never seen. I ain't seen it. At least I ain't seen it good. You know, like, it's just something you just don't see too often. And like, just to get it clear, it's not like it's something that's played up like heavily. Like, I mean, it's played up, but in the actual story of the movie, it's not something that's completely played up that heavily. It's just like I'll get into the story, but it's just like the main characters, the town, and most of the things going on happens between these, but a predominantly black cast. But I just think that that's something that's so cool, and like just the talent in this movie: Lakeith Stanfield, Idris Elba, Jonathan Majors, Regina, how do we say her name? Regina King. I think it's Regina King, Zazie Beetz. There is just so much talent, black talent in this film. I just remember when I was watching it just being like, damn, man, this is cool. It's just cool. Like, off that basis alone, I was like, just personally, you know, I can't help it. Just personally, I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. This is pretty cool. Like, you know, this is the type of shit that, like, I imagined when I was a kid watching a Western movie, imagining myself in it, and you just don't really think about it. But I'm like, this is really cool. This is really cool. That off the top, the movie itself is three things. And if you're down with that, you're going to have a hell of a time with this movie. I had a hell of a time with the movie. One, it's a graphic novel. Now, there isn't an actual graphic novel, but it feels... You know what it's like? It's John Wick. John Wick feels like a graphic novel. You know what I mean? When you watch John Wick, and you're a comic book person or someone who reads graphic novels, you feel it. Like, the style, like, it's so stylized and the way things look. The same thing with this movie. This movie feels like a graphic novel. It feels like... You want to look like, if I didn't know any better, I would have just looked up the comic book this is based off of, because it feels like a comic book. The cinematography is fantastic, and it's just so stylized, and the colors just pop. It really popped. Like all the reds, the blues, the sun, the dirt, the towns, like all the colors just pop. So it really looks very stylized. It's shot very stylized. Like I said, if you didn't know any better, you would think this was based off of a comic book, because it feels like that. And of course, I'm down for that, because, you know, I'm into graphic novels and whatnot anyways. So that's one thing it feels like. Another thing it feels like is it feels like a bit of, it feels like it's an old school, it feels like the Magnificent Seven. And I'm talking about the newish Magnificent Seven that came out, except it's a little bit dark, except it's more darker because it's rated R, and it's got better cinematography. But at its core, it's an old school spaghetti western revenge story. And in short, Jonathan Majors plays the character Nat Love. He's the main character, the leader of the Nat Love gang. And the Nat Love gang, predominantly black, they rob other gangs. That's their whole claim to fame, is that they rob other gangs, and like they're supposed to be kind of like, they're pretty much as virtuous as as a freaking gang could be. You know, in terms of, I mean, they still murder people because they still murder other gang members and whatnot, and you know, they're not above murdering killing someone if they have no choice. But the vibe you get is they're about the closest thing to virtuous you can get. Like, they're just like, you know, Nat Love clearly is like, you know, he doesn't, there's a line, and like this even brought up in the film, like he has a line, and lines he doesn't want to cross, lines he wouldn't cross, and you know, they still want it. They still want it because they still robbing people who rob banks. But you know, you get what I mean. So you got him, and he is seeking vengeance on another character, on the villain, played by Idris Elba, Rufus Buck. And Rufus Buck is this bad motherfucker, this just ruthless killer who's got his own gang of ruthless killers by his side, predominantly black. And you know, Rufus is like, they call this man the devil. That's how bad this man is. You know, his name emits fear in the room, and Idris Elba is playing it up as great as he is. This intimidating man that you're just not sure if he's gonna shoot you or not. You know, you just get this vibe from him. And needless to say, and a long time ago, at the beginning of the movie, you see, and just some minor spoilers, you see Rufus come into a house, murder a man and his wife, and carve a cross into a little boy's head. That was Nat Love, and Nat Love has been seeking vengeance on Rufus Buck, and now these two gangs will collide. Nat wanting revenge, Rufus wanting Nat stole money from Rufus, so he wants that money back. So it's a very interesting conflict. And in the middle of all that, Bass Reeves, you know, the real Lone Ranger, shows up, and there's a whole bunch of things going on in this film. But at this film's core, it's an old school spaghetti western. At its core, you know, it's a spaghetti western, but much blacker. And what I mean by blacker is, it's just the themes that they use. It's just some of the things that they play up. First of all, there's a lot of rap and reggae music, but it's good. It's good, and it's played sporadically throughout the film to give you a vibe. And they actually kind of have themes going, because whenever Nat Love and his crew are on, there's some cool little smooth rap music being played. And whenever Buck and his crew's on, there's a little bit of reggae music being played, and they kind of like switch out and whatnot. And there's a lot of stuff going on with these characters and these stories. But at the end of the day, it's just a fun movie. It's a movie that if you just don't let yourself, if you don't, you know, that it's a movie that if you're into westerns, you're gonna probably enjoy yourself. Just know that, you know, it's not your typical western just because of the style. It's because it's very stylized, it's very unique. The predominantly black cast, the music is fun. To me, I enjoyed the music, but I'm not sure it's going to be for everyone, with the rap music and reggae music kind of playing in this. So it might not be for everyone. There's a lot, like I say, it's very cinematic. It's very cinematic. I'll tell you one thing. In all honesty, this really should have been in the theaters. Like I really do think this movie should have been in the theaters. Like usually when Netflix has a movie come out, I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty much where it belongs. But this movie was so cinematic, it had such an impressive cast, and the cinematography was so well done, and you know, the vibe of the movie and the scores and whatnot, it just felt like I should have been watching this in a theater. Like I'm just not lying, like I'm like, I feel like I should be watching this in a movie theater. But regardless of which, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It's not my favorite movie, you know, it's not the best movie of the year or anything like that, but as action movies go, as western movies go, I had a blast with this. I had more fun with this than I did The Magnificent Seven. I enjoyed most of the cast. I enjoyed the twist near the end. You know, I just had fun. You know, it's just fun seeing a western again, and seeing it like this, you know, is always fun as well. I would probably give this movie, I'm not sure. I'm stuck between like a 7.5 and an 8. It's not anything above that, but I settle at 7.5. I still enjoy, because it didn't like revolutionize I'll give it an 8. I had fun with it. By the time it came to an end, I had fun with it. I give The Harder They Fall an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed the hell out of the movie. I had a fun time. The action was cool. It was old school spaghetti western, which you don't see anymore because every western wants to be so serious. And don't get me wrong, I love the serious westerns. Not that long ago, I watched the entire Dollar trilogy. I watched The Good and the Bad, Fistful of Dollars, few more dollars. I watched the whole goddamn thing because I just kind of like got hooked, and I was like, this is fantastic, you know? And I watched Unforgiven, and I was like, you know, I love these serious ones, especially like the Clint Eastwood ones, you know, the more serious, methodical. I've seen a couple of them, you know, a couple more serious, Deadwood. I've been recently watching Deadwood and things of that nature, and I don't mind those, but at the same time, it's fun. It's almost novel to see the old school spaghetti western style in a western movie now, in a western anything, because they don't really do it anymore. They really like westerns have kind of shifted to a more, when you do see a western, it's serious and dirty, and they want to make it look real. Where this is stylized, the colors, the world, everything kind of pops, and how people look. Sometimes they don't look like you're just like for instance, Idris Elba's character is supposed to have been imprisoned, you know, for a little bit, and he's got a clean-shaved head. And I'm like, either he's not been in prison that long, but it doesn't matter. They're just going for a style. Like even the way they shoot certain things is stylized, and like I say, it pops. It really does, and it's just a fun film. To me, it's a fun movie. It's a fun Western film, and I wish I could see more Westerns like this. Because like I said, a lot of Westerns are so serious, and I don't mind it. I'll ride with you, but sometimes I'm just like, God, man, I just want to see some dudes shoot guns. I just want to see a good old-fashioned revenge, some dudes shoot guns, you know, intimidation, stare downs. Sometimes I just want to see the old school shit, man. Sometimes I just want to see the old school shit. And you're gonna do with a predominantly black African-American cast? Look, that sounds awesome to me. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.